So this is going to be a bit of a different video than the normal videos that I put out. I've gotten a lot of requests to show some behind the scenes footage of a professional gig and show everything that it takes to prepare for it, to getting to the gig, setting up and doing the show and everything. So without further ado, here we go. All right, so first things first, one of the things I like to do to prepare for a gig is throw my equipment in my car like the night before the gig. So this is all of my equipment here. I've already put it in the car, but I'll be playing tomorrow. So I'll be on keys tomorrow, and this is my Yamaha Montage. This is a 76 key keyboard. Now, usually on gigs, I prefer playing an 88 key keyboard, so I'll usually bring my Nord Stage 2 out, but it's raining outside and it's supposed to be raining tomorrow. So as you can see here, see the ground there is wet. So, and it's nighttime, it's just so bright because the ISO is up on my camera, but you can see how wet it is outside. But that's why I'm playing the 76 key. And then this is my Korg Kronos. This is a 61 key keyboard. I actually have two Kronos keyboards. The other one is an 88 key. I never bring it out the house because it's built like a tank and it's as heavy as a tank. But these are the two keyboards I'll be using on the gig for tomorrow. Now, this is my laptop stand here. It's just a rolling laptop stand. I bought this years and years and years ago. This is my keyboard stand. This is the K&M Spider Pro. I love this keyboard stand, very sturdy, expensive, but it's a great keyboard. You probably would never have to buy another one. So that's what it is. And then of course, here's my dolly. This is what I call the back saver, guys. This is my rock and roller dolly. Put all my stuff on there. I can do all my load in and load out in one trip. This is my keyboard stool. This is what I sit on. So basic stool that you can get anywhere. And then this is my gig bag. This is the bag I keep all of my peripheral stuff in. My cables, sustain pedal, my, what do you call it? Power strip, DI boxes. I have all of that stuff in this bag. So when I have gigs, I just grab this bag and I'm out. I don't have to worry about where my cables and all of that all my patch cables, all of that stuff is in here. This is something that I tell musicians to get all the time. Just get you a gig bag, keep all of your stuff in there. That way you never forget anything. And that's one of the reasons I pack my car the night before the gig, so I never forget any of my stuff. Because you know what happens the day of, you're running around and you're busy, got stuff to do, then you go pack your car and be like, oh man, I forgot my snare, I forgot my sustain pedal, I forgot my, my box, whatever the case may be. So this is a remedy for that. So this is one of the ways that I prepare for gigs. And then this is just a tripod. This is a camera stand. I'll be getting some footage of the gig tomorrow. And this is the camera stand I'll be sitting the camera on. So yeah, this is my preparation the night before the gig. Now, another thing I like to do the night before the gig, in addition to loading my car up and making sure all of my equipment is in the car and I got it ready to go so I don't have to worry about it, is to just go over the final details for the gig. This is something that's necessary because, this is a corporate style gig, and when people are paying the type of money that they pay bands for these types of gigs, there's a level of professionalism that's expected. So I do my best to meet that level of it. So, and part of that for me is preparing. So what I like to do is just go through the final details of where everything is going to be. I pull up the GPS to the location on my phone, see how long it's going to take me to get there and all of that kind of stuff. So, but the final thing is I'll go over the set list. So now this is our set list here. I'll go to my computer and this is our set list here. Now, this is not a streamlined set list. Usually our set lists are way more streamlined than this. But this is our normal band. This is the band. All of us have been working together so long. We kind of know everything. So it's not necessary to put a lot of details on the set list. So we just have the names of the songs and who's, in some cases we'll put who's going to sing what. But this is just a basic song list. There's nothing else to it. Everybody knows the keys. We've done these songs 100 times before. And this set list is curated specifically for this gig. Now, again, I've played these songs 100 times. I know them backwards and forwards. But again, it's one of those things just to keep your brain activated, making sure you're on point, because that's what happens when you play a song, or the same songs a bunch of times. You start to coast on autopilot, and like literally I can play this stuff in my sleep. But what happens is, again, you tend to have these if sort of brain fart or something happens on stage, you kind of forget. And I only spend like, out of all of these songs, I go through this in maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes tops. Because again, I know all of the stuff, I'm just doing this to activate my brain. I'm the musical director for the band, so I have to call these songs out. I have to keep everybody on point. I have to direct everybody where to go in the song. So, hey, I'm talking in the talkback mic. Hey, we're going to the verse and all of this kind of stuff, right? So that's another reason why I'm going through the set list. Now, on this other thing, we have something called an event sheet that we sent out to all of the members of the band. And this is our event sheet. I'll pull it up here. So this is our event sheet, right? And basically the event sheet just gives you the details of the gig, where it's going to be located, what time we play, what time we stop and start, where it's going to be located, the specific room in the location where we're going to be at the setup time. So this is the setup time for our band and sound setup. So now you'll see this says from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. and that's a 6-hour time slot. And what happens, the reason is for this is, I know this is not typical for like club gigs. You can get to a club gig, 30, 40 minutes, an hour before the gig and you're fine. But again, for these corporate gigs, what happens is they have a lot of vendors that are coming in that space that particular day, from people serving food, they catered food, flowers, tables, all of this kind of stuff where people bring it, and they have certain times where they're coming in. So to keep everybody from getting there at the same time and, loading up the loading dock at the same time and everybody crowding it up, you have this extended setup time. So as long as we're there most of the time by 6 p.m., we're fine. And then of course, the vocalists don't really have anything to set up for our band, so we tell them to get there about 7 o'clock. And then of course, the band will be fed. And this is something that happens on corporate gigs. You get fed by, the event. This is not something that typically happens on corporate gigs, but of course it happens. On club gigs, but it is something that happens with corporate gigs. This is our dress code, what to wear, all of this kind of stuff. And again, this, just like the set list, this event sheet is sort of just curated for our band. We have event sheets with a lot more information on it if we're using people, that aren't familiar with our setup, how we do things and all of that kind of stuff, right? So we'll have a little bit more information on there, but again, this is curated for all of the people that's going to be there tomorrow, other people that are always there. We all know this stuff, so it's no use of giving this super detailed event sheet. And a lot of people may look at this and think it's a lot, like, oh my God, you're going through all of this. But again, this is the professionalism. This is the level of stuff that you have to do for these types of things and to play at that level. Like when you're playing a sport, for example, if you're playing in the NBA, you don't practice like a person that's playing in high school. You practice like a person that's playing in the NBA. So it's the same thing with these types of gigs. I don't operate this kind of stuff like I'm playing some simple club gig or bar gig where you just kind of show up and it's mostly, hey, do you know this song? You know this song? Let's play this. Or it's, a jam session kind of thing. This kind of stuff is operating at a different level. So I spend the time to do it. And this is what keeps professional musicians playing at this level. And this is what separates a lot of the professional musicians from non-professional musicians. But anyway, this is what I do to prepare the night before the gig. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit about what I do when I'm actually traveling to the gig. As you can see, I'm in the car and I left in enough time. I'll get there well ahead of time. I don't have to drive fast. I don't have to rush, anything like that, put myself in danger for driving fast. And that's what I advise, musicians to do, leave in enough time. Stop getting to gigs and stuff late if you can help it. But what I like to do when I'm on the way, especially for gigs like this where I have to drive a substantial distance, where it's, like I said, this gig is about 45 minutes from my house, I basically just kind of like to relax. And sometimes what I'll do is, if there's music or something that we haven't done in a while that I need to refresh, I'll just listen to that music and kind of go over it in my head. As I stated in one of the preparation part of the video, the set list that we're doing is stuff we've done 100 times, so we're good on it. I don't really have to do that much. But sometimes, again, I'll just kind of sit and relax and listen to some of the music. I'll double check and make sure I have everything. I make sure I'm nourished. I have some food, because a lot of times these gigs, they're kind of hectic. You know, there's gigs sometimes where we'll go straight through like a 4-hour gig and not have a break because of something that's going on there. That's probably not the case for this gig. I'm almost sure it's not the case for this gig. So none of that stuff is a worry. But like I said, mostly what I'm doing is just relaxing. I just relax on this trip and enjoy the trip. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't have to stress about anything. I'm on time, I'm good to go. So I'm going into the gig, you know, with a fresh mind, fresh perspective and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what I like to do, but I'll show you what happens when I get to the gig and, you know, the loadout and how how hectic that is, and once everything starts, once we get to the gig. So, all right, so here we go. Okay, so walking through the stage setup, we got our horns over here, stage left all the way over here is a trumpet, and then sax, and then trombone, and then their wedge is here. And then guitar player is next to them. There's a guitar there, and then the amp is mic'd. And then his pedal board is all the way out here, so you can walk out. He has room to walk out. And then drums are here. You can see the setup, basic mic setup with overheads and everything. I'll go behind so you can kind of see how everything looks. He has this sample pad over here. And this is how the kit looks from like behind the kit. And then, so moving over next to him, it's the bass player. His bass is here. Ken Smith, Aguilar amp, and there's his mics. He does some talking, and then he has a talkback mic as well. And then over here is me, the keyboards. This is my keyboards here, my keyboard setup, my 2 keyboards I mentioned already, with my talkback mic and my MacBook Pro there. I'll come behind so you can see what that looks like here. So yeah, here are my 2 keyboards, and I got the mix here on my phone. I can control my mix through my in-ears, and my in-ears are here. I'm using this little Behringer mix to come in. I'm coming in stereo. And then just for the laptop, basically I'm using that to multi-track the show. So we're good on that. And then my tablet is up here. This is what we run our any tracks and stuff that we play from here. So I play all that from here. And again, this is my talkback where I used to talk to the band. So I can see, you see when I sit here, everyone is in my view. The vocalists, mics up front, those 3 mics right there, you can kind of see them. I'll come a little closer so you can see them. They're all on wireless, so you can see those, but they're not out right now because we're gonna have a presentation before this. So that's what that looks like. Then we'll come down here to the sound. My man Rory over here on the sound. The Midas 32 going. So yeah, that's what the console looks like from the side of the stage. And then I'll walk around the front. So you can see the stage from the front, and this is the entire setup. You can see the front of house speakers there. And then another set on that side, you know, basic setup. Pretty big stage. As I'm walking back, you can kind of see how big the stage is. And then I can turn around in the room and you can see how big this room is as well. I'll slow down a little bit so you can see everything they got set up. Show you something really cool that they have next to the stage. It's gonna be perfect for me, and you guys will love this. Perfect for bands. Check this out. Look, this is my setup right there. What's right next to the stage? The bar. Yeah, buddy. But it's cool. This is the setup for tonight. So in this part of the video, I show some footage of us during the actual performance. I can't play the audio because of content strikes here on YouTube, but I did post it to another channel where you can see it, and I'll leave the link into the description of this video. And you definitely want to check that out so you can check out the audio and how everything sounds and how everything looks. Now this part coming up is really cool because I asked some of the band members impromptu, like they didn't know I was going to ask them this, but I put them on the spot and asked them what they thought were some of the benefits of playing these types of gigs versus coming from a sort of club era and a club venue type of gig. You know, if you're that type of musician, what were the benefits and what they saw the differences in doing those sort of gigs and doing this sort of gigs. So check out what they said.
Oh,
What do you say to up and coming vocalists who want to sing?
just do it. Just do it. Life is too short. Take the risk, you know, and just do what you love doing. I love singing, so that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do, because I love it. If you put things off you'll never fulfill what you really want to do in life. So
Listen, singers that want to do this, it takes a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. But it takes a lot of work to entertain people and to learn your crowds. And once you get it done, there's nobody that you can't entertain. So think about that when you're picking songs. Song selections are important. Yeah? And once you pick songs that you can really, really, really sell, it'll never be work. You'll just be having fun.
There you go. Tell me something, Selena.
What he said.
She don't care. She gonna go. All right, so you come out of the club venue and stuff, doing them kind of gigs. Like, what do you see as the difference in doing those kind of gigs and then this kind of stuff?
Well, different from this stuff is definitely more like professional. Of course, you gotta play the songs back to back. Gotta be ready, have the set list ready, just for this stuff. And you gotta be dressed nice all the time.
Yep.
Looking good, smelling good, and do what you're supposed to do. But in the other places, you kind of just chilling, really.
Right.
It's not nearly as professional as this,
Right.
That's what I see.
All right, so you come from playing the club gigs and stuff too. Like, what do you say is the difference between playing those kind of gigs and then this kind of gig? Money, yeah. That's the biggest thing. Hey, that's all you had to say. Y'all been in the game a long time, man. Like, tell the people get a youngster some advice.
Always be on time.
That's a good one. Always be on time. That's a must.
And always be willing to listen.
Always be with them. Listen. Always be on time. That's what's up.
If you're gonna do it right. Listen to your song, learn your music.
Listen to your music. Learn your music.
Yeah.
You gonna do it right. Tell them something, bro. Tell them what you got.
A good attitude will take you further than good chops.
Bro,
Yeah.
he preaching. He's preaching right there. That's it.
I told him well.
All right, so this is some behind the scenes footage and everything that it takes to do these types of gigs. As you can see, a lot goes into it. And you have some idea if this is something that you want to get into, and if you want to do it, you'll have an idea of the type of things that you'll be looking at. There's definitely a lot of other things that it takes to be a professional musician, and I've done many videos about those, and you can check them out here.